Hey, hope you're doing well. So today we'll be looking at how we reconcile clients' cryptocurrency transactions using CoinTracking. So let's get started. So the first and foremost thing that I recommend you to do is list down all the wallets, exchanges, and hardware wallets that you have ever used since you've been in cryptos. So I can share you this template here. In this template, we have listed down all the blockchains that were being used, like MetaMask, wallet addresses, Phantom wallet addresses, all the exchanges that are being used, and all the wallets like cold wallets, Trezor, Ledger, or Exodus that were being used. Additionally, I recommend you to do one more thing is maybe you can also write down any counterparty addresses. For example, if you send funds to your family, maybe to your friends, or received funds from your family or friends, by this and note down those wallet addresses. By that way, it will be easier when we classify the transactions with those counterparties. So yeah, so the very first step is just to go to imports here in CoinTracking. So you can obviously import using API or CSV. So first we recommend using API. And when you import by API, just make sure like all the recently used APIs will come up here. And if there is any error in any of the API, which means that there's some issue with the API sync, so make sure you fix that. And wherever API is not available or CoinTracking does not support API, we recommend you can use CSV. Also, in case like any wallet or exchange that is not there in CoinTracking, we can import via custom, like using Excel import, and yeah, that should be done. So once we have everything imported in CoinTracking, the next thing that you can do is just click here. So you can go to the transactions page and click on the bulk edit delete. So by this way, you'll have a broader view. You don't have to delete anything, but you'll just get a broader view of how many wallets, exchanges are there, and you can maybe just double check it with the list that you have prepared using this tracker. And just make sure every wallet is there, every exchange is there, so that we can double check everything. So once the import step is done, now the real game starts how we reconcile these transactions. So there are various checks that are given by CoinTracking here. So we have to make sure that all these checks are followed. So first one is balance check. If you go to the portfolio and balance by exchange page, so the balance by exchange page is balance as per books. That is the balance as per CoinTracking. So this does not mean that this is your real live balance or that is your actual balance. So this is just balance as per books. So we have to match this balance by exchange with the live or real live actual balances. For example, let's take an example here. For example, in Coinbase. So here the client is currently having $3,900 worth of coins, like around 2,800 Doge, around 12 Solana. And then we have to match all these balances here in the API live data page. So we have to go to, again, in Coinbase, we have to double check. Like, for example, again, client is having 2,800 Doge and like 12 point something Solana. We have to match each coin by coin, each currency and each quantity, and also the dollar value. So we make sure that around $3,900 worth of coins are there in the Coinbase account. So if this is 100% reconciled, then I would say that yes, my Coinbase transactions are accurately imported into CoinTracking. In case there is any balance variation, there is any difference between the balance as per balance by exchange page and balance as per the live. So this is being fetched up by the API. In case you have imported via CSV, so you can, in that case, you can just double check it with using the balance on your Coinbase account page. So all these balances should match, as I mentioned, and if all these balances for each coins are matching, then we can go ahead for the next wallet or exchange, and we just have to follow this same step for all the wallets and all the exchanges, even for the blockchain addresses. So we can go to Etherscan, Solana Scan to search for all those wallet balances and match it with the CoinTracking balances. So just make sure that every wallet or exchange balances are matching with the live balances. Also, do make sure that there are no negative coin balances. For example, here, there's a bunch of negative coin balance, and below we can double check. Yeah, again, here, there's a negative coin balance. So we have to double check if we have to make sure that no balance should be negative here and every balance is matching with the real life balance. The next check that we have is missing transactions. So missing transactions are one-sided deposit or withdrawals that we need to classify. For example, here, if you see the first transaction, there's a withdrawal of 1500 USDC. If this withdrawal is going into any of your known wallet address or any of your own exchange, that should be treated as a transfer. But if it's not going to any of your own wallet or exchange, it means that we need to classify this transaction. We need to have a look at what's the nature of this transaction. We can look at the blockchain records and we can classify it accordingly. In CoinTracking, we have various options to classify those transactions. So you can just click on that transaction, edit, and then based on whatever the nature of that transaction is, you can do the reconciliation. So for example, if that's a spend, which means that you're spending the asset to buy some goods or services, that will be marked as here. If it's donation, you can mark it as donation. If it's related to any liquidity pool transactions or derivative transactions, we have all these classification options here to appropriately reconcile it. So the end goal of the reconciliation process is to make sure that there are 0 missing transactions at the end. Currently here you can see there are 242 transactions, but at the end of the reconciliation there should be 0 missing transactions. So that's how we can know that every transaction has been properly classified. The next check that we have here is duplicates. So while importing, there can be certain duplicates and we need to fix those duplicates from here. The next one is validation. So here, any warnings or errors will pop up, and if there are any, we need to fix that. The next is transactions flow. That is one of the most important step here. So you have to go on and click on show warnings. So once you click on show warnings, it will show up all these transactions. Let's take an example of this transaction. Here, if you see the balance before was 9,500 USDT and there's a withdrawal of 12,000 USDT. So after this withdrawal, the balance of USDT become negative $2,500. So you can never sell or withdraw something at negative, right? So which means that your coin balance within the year became negative due to certain import issue or reconciliation issues. So we have to fix all these errors here that show up in the transactions flow report. So once we are done with all the checks, the next step is the preparation of tax reports. So once we generate a tax report, and we need to look at all these errors here. So if there is any particular error like this one, which means that there might be any cost basis issues, so we can go there and click on load report and click on show warnings. So when you click on show warnings, you'll be looking at all the transactions where there is 0 cost basis and there is any error. So in this client, we have already fixed most of the issues. There are just some rounding of things that needs to be done. After the reconciliation, there should not be any material error or material missing cost basis that causes an issue. So we can generate the reports. We have various settings here. We can choose the country. We can choose a method of how we want to create the report. And there are certain other settings that we need to make sure that are accurate to generate the tax report. And once everything is fixed, we can just print the report. So I tried to complete every aspect. So, but obviously, the crypto reconciliation is complex and there are a lot of things, so we can't cover everything in one video. So I hope you like it, and let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.